You gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, isn't it?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. You look good, Coach.
Oh, try it. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Thursday in the Quad Cities. Thursday, December 18th. We are exactly 1 week away from Christmas. So your daily reminder, get your stuff done, get your shopping done, get ready for Christmas. It's a week away. I remember hearing stories about my dad when he was, before he got married, he was the Christmas Eve shopper. He shopped on Christmas Eve every single year. Don't be Guy Randazzo. Get out there, get your stuff done. A lot of things in life you want to be like my dad about. That's not one of them. So get your stuff done. Christmas is now a week away. Wouldn't guess it outside. Last week you look outside and it was snow everywhere and nasty. Now it's just a downpour outside here at my house. So a nasty day here in the Quad Cities. No reason to go anywhere or do anything. A lot of you guys are already on vacation, already in Christmas moods and mode, if you will. So stay here and check out the show. We got a lot to get to here on OTA. If you're watching us live on YouTube, thank you for doing that. We appreciate it. Subscribe. Hit the button, subscribe. We appreciate that. If you have, thank you. If you haven't, please do so ASAP and tell a friend or 2 or 10 about what we're doing here in the Quad Cities each and every weekday off the air with Matt Randazzo. Also, get active with the chat. The chat was very active yesterday. A lot going on, especially when it comes to some high school football news in Illinois, and we'll talk about that again today. So give us your feedback, questions for guests, make fun of me, yell at me, all that kind of stuff. Do so on the YouTube chat. We're also live on X. X has been very good to us as well. Same thing there. Give us your feedback when it comes to what the show is doing, what you like, what you don't like, all those kind of things on X as well. We are available on all the podcasting platforms as well. Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Podbean, you name it. Wherever you get your podcasts, you can check out Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. We appreciate that as well. If you're wrapping presents or going out shopping or whatever you're doing these times of year, make sure you turn the show on and give us a listen. We appreciate that as well. And also, welcome to our viewers in Central Iowa as well. The show is being seen in Central Iowa on the WHO streaming app every evening at 7 p.m. So thank you guys for making us part of your routine in Central Iowa as well. It's been a fun week here on OTA. A lot to get to on today's show, but go check out the shows throughout the week as well. Monday, Pat Angerer, Grant Welch, who was awesome last Friday against Rock Island, scoring 29 as Moline beat Rock Island at Rock Island. He followed that up with like a 34-point, 8-rebound, 8-assist game on Tuesday. So he got the OTA rub, if you will, and he's continuing to play good basketball. So go check out Grant's interview on Monday. John Marks, Don Umland on that day as well. Tuesday, we had Ked Prince, Kyle Huseman, and my great friend Jake Kidwell. That was a really fun show. Go check that show out. Yesterday, it was Jake Brend talking about the Cyclones. Mitch Stormer from View from the West talking about the playoff expansion when it comes to high school football in Illinois. A fascinating interview with him, as always, so go check that out. And then our Nest Guest segment yesterday from Hungry Hobo as well. On today's show, coming up in a matter of moments, we'll get caught up with Tom Kakert, our Hawkeye expert, if you will. It was not a busy morning in Iowa City, but the media met with some of the players and all that kind of stuff and coach. So we'll talk to Tom about where this basketball team is. They got a game in Des Moines against Bucknell on Saturday. We'll talk about that as well. And then I asked Ken about Illinois. I asked Jake Brend about Iowa State. I'll ask Tom Kakert the same thing. If you had a wish list for Christmas and you could get the Iowa basketball program a Christmas present, what would it be? So we'll ask him all of that. Tom Kakert coming up in a matter of moment, a little football as well too. So Tommy is on his way. Later on in hour number 1, we're going to talk with 2 of my favorite coaches here in the area when it comes to high school football. United Township's Nick Welch and Moline's Mike Morrissey will join us to talk about the big news in high school football this week, the expansion of playoffs, the moving up of the season. So it's going to start a week earlier. There's a bye week now. There's a lot of differences. One coach voted for it. Their school, I should say, voted for it. Another school did not. We'll talk to them about what it all means and have a great conversation when it comes to high school football with 2 of the best when it comes to Nick Welch from United Township and Moline's Mike Morrissey. That's coming up later on here in hour number 1 in just a little bit, so don't go anywhere. And also, Pete Ivanic will join us. He's been the director, I guess is the best way to say it, for the MercyOne Geneseis Shootout for 23 years. This is his last year, so we'll kind of go down memory lane with him on where this event has gotten to. It's one of the best events that we have in the Quad City area. I love it. It's a sports tradition in December. It's this Saturday. So in 48 hours, they'll be tipping the ball off at the Carver Center for a whole bunch of basketball action. 7 games, $5 for the entire day. Get down to the Carver Center, but we'll talk with Pete Ivanic about the event and preview it a little bit coming up in hour number 2 as well. Speaking of that, that's where we'll start our poll questions. The Iowa side has won the last 9 shootouts. The Illinois side hasn't won a shootout since 2014. Of course, we didn't have COVID and a shootout that year, but it's been a while since the Illinois side. And you go back to when this thing started, I think 1993, and the thought process back then was like, oh, can the Iowa side hang with the Illinois side of the river when it comes to high school basketball? And now it's the opposite. So my question on the on Twitter, the poll question is, which side of the river will win this year's MercyOne Geneseis Shootout? Iowa or Illinois? That's simple. So go vote on that. Give me your reasons why in the comments below. We appreciate that. You can also talk about that on the chat right now on YouTube as well. Our poll questions from yesterday, we had 2 of them. One of them involving high school football. Was the expansion a good idea or a bad idea? 85% said no, it was a bad idea. Shouldn't have happened. We'll talk more about that coming up in a little bit. Also, my favorite poll question when it comes to Christmas baked goods, treats. What's your favorite? With 41% of the vote, simple sugar cookies led the way. Peanut butter blossoms, which are really, really good, came in with 39% of the vote. Down there away was Oreo balls, which are my favorite. So it just made me hungry. That's the only thing it did. It just made me more hungry. And it's that time of year where you just enjoy the holidays and eat, which is good for family and friends and yourself and fun. Bad for the waistline, but we'll deal with that in January and February and March and April and all those kind of things as well. So, couple news and notes to get to before we get rocking and roll with Tom Kakert. And we're going to stick with the high school football theme, if you will, because there's a new head football coach at Sherrard High School. Sherrard naming Zach Waggle their new head coach last night. He is from Elma, Iowa, so an Iowa native. He's been the associate head coach, at Davenport Central most recently. So Zach Waggle will take over the reins at Sherrard. It's a program that has struggled for many decades when it's come to high school football. But in my opinion, it's a program that you can go there, you can turn it around, you can build something pretty special. That's obviously what the Tigers are hoping for with the hire of Zach Waggle. So we'll talk with him on the show eventually. No show tomorrow, so maybe next week. Not a lot of shows next week. It's Christmas week, but we'll get caught up and talk to the new head coach at Sherrard here on OTA very, very soon. So congratulations to him. I know he's coming from a program that coaching staff that they have over Alex Berg and company over at Davenport Central. A lot of guys on that staff that love what they do, love teaching football, comes from a great culture over there at Davenport Central. So excited to see what Coach Waggle can do. And I'm getting the last name pronunciation from Julian Vandervelde. So if I'm getting it wrong, shame on Julian. He's coached with him, but it's Waggle, not Weagle or some other things that people have pronouncing it as. not calling them out. I've been in that situation before, but Julian says waggle, so hopefully Julian didn't lead me astray earlier this morning. I doubt he did. Couple other quick things coming up. We mentioned Nest Guest was yesterday. You can go check out the segment, but that link is up on my social media. Very simple. We have 3 college football games on there. We did not do the Friday night game because we want to give more people time to get in, but the cutoff is Saturday at 11 a.m. Click the link, fill it out. If you win great food from the exclusive sponsor of the Nest Guest contest, Hungry Hobo. So get that done ASAP and have some fun with it. This week's winner, Karen Stocking, Mama Stockpile, Brian Stocking's mom. And so it's been a Stocking winning back-to-back weeks, which you couldn't make that up if you tried. So congratulations to her and get signed up for Nest Guest. Let's start our rainy Thursday in the Quad Cities with Mr. Doom and Gloom himself. It wouldn't be a week here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo without seeing the ugly face of my good friend Tom Kakert. Happy holidays, my friend. I don't mean that. You're a handsome young man.
I'm neither young nor handsome, but thank you. It's good to be back on all ears.
Oh, I love it. I miss you. It's funny because is there a lot to talk about? And you'd think, not a ton, but there is. There always is when it comes to the Iowa Hawkeyes. And we'll get to that in a second. Before we get rolling, I did this with Jake yesterday. I've done it with all the guests. And you were cranky with me on some of the poll questions this week. So thumbs up, thumbs down, Christmas music. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
I like a lot of Christmas music. Yeah, I do.
Good. What's the favorite?
Springsteen doing Santa Claus Coming to Town. Step
Very
into
specific.
Christmas. Step into Christmas. Elton John. Stuff like that.
All right, I like it.
Easily. I'm
I'm
my
old
good
school when
stuff.
it comes to probably the stuff you hear at church, but the old Holy Night, all that kind of stuff. I love those kind of things. Eggnog, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Down. It's gross.
Yeah, I think I've had it twice and I didn't like it either time. So I would agree with that.
Yeah.
For Christmas cookies, is there a favorite Christmas cookie that you need to have?
I like the peanut butter cookie with the Hershey Kiss. in the
Peanut
middle of
butter
it.
blossoms.
Peanut butter blossoms, is that what they're
Yes.
called?
Yes.
Okay.
Delicious. A fantastic choice. Oreo balls, also very, very good as well. My wife makes
Yes,
those.
those are yeah, my wife used to make those and now she just doesn't do all that. I got all of our Christmas shopping done and all the gifts are wrapped.
Look at
so
you. And it's what? The
I handle the whole
18th, 19th, whatever?
I
That's
handle
good.
I handle the whole operation.
Good for you.
And you know what I do? You know what I do now though? I don't wrap gifts. I just put them all in bags and tape them up. That's just the way you gotta go.
See, this is my back in the day, I worked at Hy-Vee for many years in the produce department. So over the holidays, it was gift baskets. And I would always be the guy making the gift baskets. And so I enjoy wrapping Christmas gifts. Put on a movie or I would watch sitcoms like Friends or Seinfeld or whatever. And back in my old days where I was on TV, everybody would be gone at work and school and I would have the day off or whatever. And I would just sit there and watch Seinfeld and wrap gifts. And I love it. Speaking of movies, last one. Favorite Christmas movie? Tom, don't say it.
Die Hard.
Is it a Christmas movie?
When does it happen?
At Christmas.
Okay.
But that's not the best. Is it?
Christmas Vacation's always been my
Yeah.
favorite.
Yeah. There we go. Now we can agree on something. We'll argue about something towards the end of the interview when it comes to the NFL, but we'll wait on that. The Iowa Hawkeyes got back on track. I thought we talked to you after the Cy-Hawk game, and I think there was a lot of positives to take from it. They didn't, some of these sleepy December games, you just show up and get through it. they seemed focused. They were impressive against not a very good Western Michigan team. I get that. But your thoughts of this weekend, just getting back out there, getting back rolling again, and they didn't just sleepwalk through an opponent. They destroyed an opponent, which I think was good to see.
That was one of the things I was kind of worried about was how are they gonna, was there gonna be some residue from Thursday night and then coming back on Sunday and because you saw that sometimes with some of Fran's teams. Not that this is an indictment towards Fran or anything, but just recent history, you've seen some teams come off of a tough loss like that, and they just kind of come out, flatter than a pancake. And Iowa did not come out flat. They came out with a lot of energy, a lot going. They just dismantled. Western Michigan looked flat. I mean, they looked like they got off the bus and they were ready to go get back on the bus and grab their Chick-fil-A sandwich and head on the road. So they were not there to put up much of a fight. So Iowa just came out and I mean, what was it, like 52-16, I think, at half? I mean, it was over.
Yeah.
And over quickly. I continue to really be impressed by Tate Sage, and maybe we should spend time talking about him, and we
Yeah.
probably have a little bit, but he's been one of the real pleasant surprises this year because I didn't know what to think of him because he never really there wasn't a whole lot of highlights out there with him. He averaged like 13.5 points a game, and as Ben's talked about, he was on a pretty stacked team, so a lot of balanced scoring. And he's running the point, and he's, making plays, dunking. He's pretty fearless. I came into the season thinking maybe a red shirt for him, and now he's a core top 7 guy in this rotation, and an impactful player and getting better by the game. So, I think probably him and Coop have been the 2 biggest surprises this year. So I didn't know what to expect from Coop. I thought he would help them, but he's been better than I thought he would be. And I think the same for Tate Sage. I think he's been better. I think the other interesting thing that happened was Bennett Sturtz didn't play 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Ben sat him down in the first half. I think the first time all year, I think he's sat him in the first half of a game and got him out of that game early. I think Ben's kind of starting to figure it out that there's a law of diminishing returns with playing 40 minutes in Big Ten games, that you're going to get beat up and you're just not going to be as effective as you would like to be. So I'm going to be curious once the calendar flips to January, if Ben McCollum starts to take maybe Bennett's minutes are now 35 instead of 40, something like that. Because you can do that. You can game the system with all the media timeouts. You can, come to a media timeout, sub him out for a minute after that media timeout. So he's got the whole media timeout plus another minute, and then you can get him back in the game and keep him engaged. So I'm wondering if he's going to start doing some of that moving forward.
It's funny, Tom, because I'm really intrigued with this team this year. I'm enjoying it, but I'm always looking at the future, and I think that the 2 guys you mentioned with Coop and Tate Sage is like, what does the future look like next year? Obviously, there's been a search guy that's doing a ton of stuff. Who he's leaving, and so who's going to be those next guys? And you're starting to see a little bit of a core, I think, between what Cooper has done and what Tate Sage can do and those kind of things. That's always nice looking forward with that stuff as well. It's Bucknell this weekend. What do we know about Bucknell? It's in Des Moines. I think Iowa fans in Des Moines, it's a great idea, to do. What do we know? Kind of give me the rundown on this game coming up on Saturday.
Bucknell's 3-9. I think their Ken Palm's in the 300s. So there have been some good Bucknell teams in the past
That's
that have made the
not this one.
NCAA tournament. And this one, not good. Not good. Iowa. I have to get my shout out in for Wheezy that Iowa's up to like 19 or 20 in Ken Palm. So
Drink.
yeah, I know you just took your drink. So they're really doing well in the analytics world right now, which is important. They're borderline top 20 in both the efficiency ratings for offense and defense, which is where you need to be if you're going to make a run in March. So, they're over the 20 mark. I think it's like if you're in the top 20 in both, that's typically, a recipe for being a Final Four type team. Not saying that I was going to be a Final Four team, but Joe Lunardi has them, what is a 7 seed, I think, this week, playing SLU, who they played in that secret scrimmage and got beat by, which I think is interesting. With UConn, the location was interesting, though, because, and again, months away, means nothing, but I got a chuckle that they would play their first game, and potentially, if they win, a second game in the city of Philadelphia, where Frey McCaffrey would be at.
Yeah, no, I'm
Which
sure
I
he'd
think
be
is
in
just
the.
humorous.
Hey, did you see Connor retweet like the Cyclone victory thing?
Yeah.
I like Connor too much to be doing silly stuff like that, right?
Yeah, it's not the, and he's had a couple of things on social that, but I get that he has some animosity towards the University of Iowa, and I understand why. I mean, if
They fired his
we
dad.
were in the same, yeah, I mean, they fired his dad. If it were us and that was our dad, probably have some animosity too. But just my suggestion, because coaches and people look at those things as, athletic directors might look at those things.
Take
it's
the
better
higher road.
maybe to just turn off social media.
Yeah,
Go,
I think in
as
life,
the kids say, go touch grass. Go
I
touch
think-
grass.
I think in life, sometimes it's better to stay off social media. Tom Kakert joining us right now on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. I did yesterday. We had Jake Brand on, and he mentioned Iowa. He thinks is a top 6 seed in the NCAA tournament, and you just said Joe Lunardi has him 7. Is that a realistic outlook for the University of Iowa?
Right now it is, I think. But we'll have a better idea where they're at, I think, February. Sometime middle of February, we'll have a much better idea about just how good this team is. I'm really curious about what the Big Ten is going to look like this year, because I think there's this top tier: Michigan, Michigan State, probably Purdue, and then there's that next level. Illinois is probably in that next level. But then there's kind of that jumbled group, UCLA, USC, Iowa, that we think a lot of these teams
Indiana.
are good. For Indiana, maybe. But then there's that bottom group. But, even Minnesota, who I thought was in the bottom group, beat Indiana recently. So, Nico Medved's team's playing a little bit better. Rutgers, not very good. How good is Wisconsin? I don't know. There's Penn State. Their record doesn't indicate that they're great, but they almost got Michigan State in one of those all-time sleepy spots that you have up in Happy Valley. That early start Saturday. There's no fans in the stands. You're flat, and Michigan State struggled to beat them. So Nebraska might be one of the biggest stories in college basketball right now. Price Sanford, former Hawk, is had 26 points in 12 minutes in the first half
Yeah.
against Illini. You know, uh, that was Price is playing great. Fred Hoiberg's team's playing great. Rink Mast is doing a great job at the post. Sam Hoiberg. I mean, they've got you know potentially Nebraska may finally win an NCAA tournament game this year.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Never won one.
It's wild. And they got 2 games, and one in Iowa City, one in Lincoln, and those will be fascinating games with Price coming back to Iowa City and then Iowa having to go to Nebraska as well. Tom Kakert joining us. Last one for basketball. I asked Ken Prince this. I asked Jake Bren for Iowa State this. I'll give it to you. If you're Iowa and you can get one Christmas gift, Christmas wish list, what would be on top? Tom, Ked said toughness for Illinois. I think Jake Bren said health for Iowa State. What would, if you had a gift that Iowa could get for Christmas moving forward at the end of to the next part of the season, what would it be?
Probably a consistent second or third scorer, because it kind of varies. It does. It kind of varies. Like one game it'll be Tavion Banks. The next game it's Alvaro. Then it might be Coop. There's something to be said for having different guys who can be that second or third guy. But we know Bennett's the top guy. But you always like to have that second guy that you can kind of go to get you a bucket. And it varies. I mean, Kay Manio had 10 points the other day and had, I thought, a really good game. But he's not a guy that's going to create his own offense. He's kind of a rim runner, garbage man, get the buckets, cut into the bucket, getting buckets that way. I think it's probably Coop, but I'm not positive on that. But I think they would benefit most if it were Alvaro Fulgaris.
Yeah.
Just because he can move inside and out. I'm really curious how Alvaro plays in the Big Ten, because it's going to be more physical, and I want to see how he handles some of that physicality.
Yeah, it'll be fascinating. Let's look at some football before I let you get out of here. The AP All-Americans, every All-American's coming out right now. It's a different All-American every year. The AP wise, though, Iowa got 2, Bo Stevens and Logan Jones, both first team All AP honors. Only 2 teams in the country, Miami and Iowa, had 2. I think it just speaks to the program. I think it's since 2014, Iowa's at least had a first team or second team AP All-American. This time of year is kind of fun. You're seeing some accolades going Iowa's way, and they're well-deserved, Tom. I mean, that offensive line was really good. Caden Weegan was amazing as a special teams player and a punt returner and a kick returner. Your thoughts this week, because it's something different, something new every day.
Yeah, Logan Jones has reached consensus All-American status. I think he's one All-American team away from being unanimous consensus, which is like
that's the picture
everything
on the stadium, isn't it? Or is that
well?
You
No,
do it twice.
No, that's not. That you'd have to be a consensus All-American 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row,
or
but still,
2 times.
Yeah, but
2
once is not bad.
Once, but you'll get the oil painting in the All-American room.
Gotcha.
So
that's it.
So Iowa has had at least one consensus All-American every year since 2019. And since 2014, they've had 13 consensus All-Americans, which is pretty incredible.
That's amazing.
When you think about it. Yeah, when you think about it, I mean, it's, you're talking about, since 2014, it's what, Brandon Scherf, Desmond King, Josh Jackson, Josie Jewell, Keith Duncan, Davion Nixon, Linderbaum, Jack Campbell, Torrey Taylor, Cooper DeJean, Jay Higgins, Caleb Johnson, and now Logan Jones.
That's amazing.
That's a pretty good list.
Yeah.
Pretty good list. So,
who's next year? Who's next year?
Lutmer.
Yeah, that's good. That's a great answer. That would be my
Zach
pick.
Lutmer.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, we'll see.
Tommy, when
We'll
you look
see.
at I don't want to get too much into the bowl game. I want to get you out of here and all that kind of stuff. But bowl game wise, are you starting to kind of see how this matchup? I think you get the matchup, you look at it real quick, you start looking at a bunch of stuff, and then as what I would always do, I just like leave it alone for a little bit and then start circling around and looking at it. Realistically, what's this look like, and how does Iowa, maybe what are the keys, some of the few keys to what to look for storyline wise when it comes to Vandy and Iowa on New Year's Eve?
Yeah, I think Iowa gained a lot of fans since Saturday
Right.
in this game because of the behavior of Diego Pavia and his family, and the way they handled not winning the Heisman Trophy. He did apologize, and we'll acknowledge the apology, but he didn't exactly handle it great. And we all make mistakes, we all fall short. So let it go. But it just seemed like a lot of people just kind of out on the kid now that were I've listened to a couple of podcasts from people who voted for him for the Heisman who now say they regret their vote because of the way he handled things. So I think one of them was Reese Davis from ESPN, who just said, I wish I wouldn't have voted for him now because of the way he handled things. How about Fernando Mendoza? What a class act that young guy is.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a credit to that award. Just the way he handled himself with such dignity and grace and appreciation for his family. So congratulations to him.
Yeah.
And I'll always wonder if Iowa completes that screen pass, things are different. Probably.
Man,
things are different.
Tom, who's winning it all? Before I let you go, who's the national champion?
Great question.
That's why I'm the best in the business, Tom.
That's why you're the best. That's why the All Ears show is the best in the business.
Keep giggling, Corey. Keep laughing. Keep laughing. He's just doing it for you.
Corey loves it. Corey loves it. That's all I do is trying to entertain.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm gonna go with Georgia.
Am I crazy to think
Kirby's
Oregon
teams-
is going to make a little bit of a run? Am I nuts?
No,
Okay.
I think it could end up, being like Oregon and Georgia in the title.
Yeah. I think it's going to be fascinating because there's not a guy. Usually you're like, oh, this team's going to win it all. That team's going to win. You just don't know at this point. Hey, before I let you go, Bears Packers this Saturday. What time's the Iowa game?
So
you
the
get to
Bears game's at 7:20, so I'll get done, and then I got a hotel in Des Moines, and gonna pack up my stuff and go to the hotel and work from the hotel and put the beloved on.
Can I ask you a question? We were talking about this earlier in the week. I think the Packers can't win the Super Bowl now because they lost Micah Parsons. I'm not saying they can't win the division, they can't win games, they can't win, but I think it's just that type of loss. When the Lions lost Aiden Hutchinson last year, I felt the same thing. Yes, they went 15-2, but it was just there's certain guys that you just can't lose, and maybe Jordan Love's one of them too. Like if you look at the Lions, Hutch, Jared Goff, probably Amon-Ra. There's probably a lot of players on that team you can't lose just because, and they lost a lot of them because they have so many Pro Bowlers and All Pros and the roster is so freaking good. Who is the who's the person that the Bears can afford to lose the most? If I said, I'm not trying to talk it into existence. This is a nice question. I'm not being mean. If you look at this team, who can they ill afford to lose the most?
Probably one of their offensive linemen.
That's what I said. And I get Caleb. Caleb's the quarterback, and that's important, and all those kind of things. And I'm not diminishing what he's done, but I think the most important part of that team is that offensive line. Now there's 5 of them, so you got to pick one. But like, I think that's the strength of this team right now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the strength is the guard, center guard. I think those guys are all just really good. Yeah, the injury report today was not great, so we'll see what it looks like on.
Did it
on
have
Saturday.
Micah Parsons out for the Bears? It didn't have that, so
But it had 2 of their top 3 receivers on the injury report,
which is it Rome and
their
who?
top running back, Rome
and
and Luther and
don't get us started on Luther. That's Johnny Marks' boy.
No, I know. I got those 2, and Swift was on the injury report. So
give me a prediction. You're not going to get me to feel sorry for you guys about freaking injuries. Like the 2 best safeties in the game is Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch, and they're out. And Sam Laporta is a better tight end than probably all but 4 in the league, and he's out. So, anyways, who wins the game? Be honest. Like it's at home. Micah Parsons is hurt.
Bears are winning.
They have to win. They have to win this game, right?
Yeah, it's going to be like 20-10 Bears.
Ooh, little defense for the old Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
How many takeaways?
Yeah. I think they'll pick off Love twice and force a fumble.
I can't wait to talk to you next week. If that happens, I will lead your segment with your prediction. He's got 20-10. I am rooting, not because I hate the Bears, which I do. I'm rooting for the Packers because then it gets things evened up, and then that last game means a lot, and it puts it back in the Lions' hand, kind of. They got to win a game here and there. They got to beat the Steelers. They got to deal with their own mess before they worry about other people. So, anyways, Tommy,
how much pain would it cause you if the Bears are the team that ends up knocking the Lions out of the playoffs?
It wouldn't be fun. I don't know pain,
okay,
but it wouldn't be fun. Like nobody. What am I going to say? Like I wouldn't care. No, it wouldn't be fun. But like, it is what it is. There's no such thing as windows when it comes to the Lions because the amount of talent on the roster is really, really good. So it's crazy. We talked about this before we started, and I'll be done. The Lions lead the league in scoring still. They've become the first team since like the 2007 Saints to not make the playoffs after leading the league in offense. So it's weird. It's been a funky season, but you know what? Next year might be the best season. Or hey, how about this? Last year's regular season was amazing, 15-2. And then, and how about this? This regular season is, and then they grind, they get in, and then Super Bowl. What do you think? No?
Wide open.
It is wide open. It is wide open. Tommy, happy holidays. We'll catch up with you again soon.
Right.
Be good, buddy.
It's good to be on all ears. Thanks.
Goodbye, Tommy. Tom Kakert joining us here. We got a lot more to get to on the show. Coming up next, we're going to continue to talk about a very, I don't want to say controversial topic, but the IHSA has expanded the football postseason by a lot. And we talked about it yesterday with Mitch Stormer. Today, 2 of the Western Big Six's best coaches, Mike Morrissey and Nick Welch, will join us to talk about the changes in football, what it means, if they like it, if they don't like it, all those kind of things. That's next right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. We'll be right back. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home. dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Yeah, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Thursday in the Quad Cities. It's December. Usually we're talking basketball, high school basketball, NFL football, those kind of things. But this week we've been talking a lot of high school football, because there's a big change in the state of Illinois, adopted a few days ago, playoff expansion, which means a lot of different things around the area and around the state of Illinois. Mitch Stormer from View from the West was here yesterday to kind of explain it all to us, but I wanted to talk to some coaches, some really good high school coaches about their thoughts on the change, but I couldn't find any. So I went with some average high school coaches as well. Mike Morrissey from Moline and Nick Welch from UT joining us. First and foremost, boys, happy holidays. Are you ready for Christmas?
Yeah, for sure. We're definitely ready for Christmas. We're taking off for Arizona tonight, so we're gonna get out of here for a while and enjoy the nice weather. Although I think it's getting pretty nice here, and then just get some time away. I'm looking forward to it for sure.
You can't hide Moline money. Jeez, I wish I could go to Arizona. Nick, you got the little ones. This is big time. Like Christmas, these are your best years of Christmas, man. You're gonna love the heck out of it.
Yeah, I don't know if Brady's going to have a clue, but Harper, she's getting a little older. I would think for sure the kids are good for Christmas based on the amount of Amazon packages that have been coming to our house. And I've heard 3 times that we're done shopping, but I personally do have to do some shopping still. So life is done, but I am not. Got a little work to do.
You're talking about your favorite former sportscaster, right? Oh, you're too good to me. And you said Brady doesn't have a clue, so he's a lot like his dad.
He's only 5 months.
He's a lot like his dad.
Where's the milk? That's all he wants.
That's all he cares about. That's all he cares. Mr. Morrissey, your office is decorated a little weird.
I'm festive. We're just getting into the holiday season. The Grinch is up. And I think that's part of the decor that goes around, neighborhoods these days. So we want to make sure that we did our part.
Doesn't look like a normal Grinch.
No, I mean, it's the Grinch that stole week 7, obviously from Alleman. So that was, it's just one of those things. And it was cool. Somebody else, a student made it and saw the opportunity to put it up and maybe just decorate the office a little bit and make it look nice. And so, yeah, that was, I thought it was very creative on their part.
So
and I just wanted to display things that students here at Moline High School are doing great work, and you have to put that on display.
Last minute Christmas shopping, you probably need a Grinch to school week 9. Nick?
Yeah, I think you could put 7 through 9 on there. But
yeah, we're gonna
get
this one, Justin, I promise.
All right, boys, I gotta stop this now. We had our fun. We gotta move on. It was an interesting. What was it? Tuesday or Wednesday? Was it Tuesday? The ruling, it sounds like it's the vote came down, the decision. We're expanding the playoffs. I'll start with you, Coach Morrissey. Your thoughts, like first off, what did Moline vote, if you know, and then your thoughts when you hear the proposal.
Yeah, so we had initially voted no, and really, I mean, our rationale behind things was football in Illinois is kind of like is in a unique situation where you have to earn your way into the playoffs. And there is a high standard still, an expectation of 5 wins or whatever it is. And obviously, coaches preach on that stuff, throughout the off season and throughout the regular season of trying to get to that goal. So that was kind of the catalyst behind why we said no. But I mean, I've talked to Nick about it. I've talked to, Coach Furlong, Coach Schlemmer, some of those guys about it. And, Nick brought up a really good point, like, a couple of weeks ago. It's like the big thing is that maybe for us, and selfishly, this was really big for us, is like, well, maybe this kills some of the district football talk for a while, because we definitely did not want that. So when you see it from that angle, it's like, okay, I mean, I can definitely see the rationale behind saying, yeah, we don't, we're going to vote yes for this. We're going to expand so people are happy. Maybe it kind of, takes away some of the talk of adjusting things going forward. But our initial reaction was no, just because of the high standards and expectations of getting into the playoffs that the state of Illinois has always had. But then, as you kind of sit there and reflect on some of the things that were passed with this proposal, the taking away district football talk is significant for us. And so, Coach Thompson, or our athletic director, and I were like, look, it's not a bad thing, and everybody's going to adjust to it. So we'll make it work. But obviously the snapshot thing, from seeing it was like, no, we don't want to do this. 5 wins get you in the playoffs, and you kind of worry about games, later on that are a little watered down, that really don't have as much significance as it would, early on before. And then, but I think you're going to see some front end games that are going to be pretty exciting. People maybe being willing to schedule games that they weren't before.
Yeah, obviously everybody wanted to get to 5. Coach Welch, you look at it, and obviously your guys' vote, do you know what it was? And then your thought process first and foremost on the entire proposal, and if you like it, don't like it.
Yeah, we voted yes. And the biggest reason for us is that, I want to preface with everybody's got to do what's best for them. And this had nothing to do with qualifying for the playoffs and making it easier. It was driven by district football is not good for United Township. And, the biggest thing for us, and honestly, like Coach Morrissey alluded to, is a lot of the district talk is similar to what happened with the expanded playoff. Is like, we didn't get all the information that was out there that we know now, especially with like when can lower levels play and all that stuff. But at no point with all this district talk did the IHSA ever release their own, like what districts would look like. It was always proposals from Susie or, the school that proposed districts again this year and put that all together and was pushing it pretty heavily to try to get it on the ballot, and it didn't make it out of the town halls. But driving, and Moline would have been with us, but driving to St. Louis for half of our season would be terrible. I mean, you think about how much money when they come play us or we go play them or Geneseo or Alleman or Rocky, how much money our booster club makes off of that and hosting home games is really prominent. And what kind of gate are you going to get when you've got to drive 4.5 hours? And then what does that look like for lower levels? Do we got to create our own schedules for that? Like, do we play just the local teams? Do we have to play 3 levels? Is our JV going to play Belleville West on a Monday that's 4.5 hours away? So they're taking the whole school day off and then they're not getting back. That just didn't, that was the overwhelming driver for the reason why we voted. And, I think you have to be realistic. In the last 10 to 15 years, how much conference realignment has happened because people are driving for 5. Let's be honest. People aren't changing conferences because of basketball or baseball or track or wrestling. They're changing conferences because they want to give their school a chance to make the playoffs. Now, we're in a unique situation where our conference is only expanded, right? Where the original Western Big Six and then adding Geneseo and Sterling was actually beneficial for us. But you think about some conferences like, the Rochelle Sycamore Conference, where those are traditionally strong programs in that league, and they don't have 8 teams in their league, so they have to schedule multiple non-conference games. So even the non-conference scheduling was so difficult. And the hope was, in our thought process was, maybe this slows down conference realignment. Maybe this slows down even schools in our conference that have talked about leaving. And they can say it's based on enrollment. I think it's driven by the drive for 5. Well, maybe now that doesn't happen. And, when we posted our week 1 opening, I think we did it Tuesday, we had 10 schools reach out to us within an hour. And if I listed off those schools to you, I'd be like, why are you trying to play us? You guys are in another level stratosphere. Like you should be trying to play some, the other schools that are reaching out,
each other,
especially the bigger private schools. Right. So that's kind of our thought process. It has nothing to do with playoff qualification. It has everything to do with, we do not want districts. Us. And I know Mike and Moline feels very similar about that. So that was the driving force behind our decision.
What are the conversations like? And Nick, I'll stay with you, because I think one of the weird things when Mitch and I were talking yesterday is that it seems, I mean, it passed easily, but all the coaches, not all, but it seemed like the majority of the coaches that we were reaching out to were like, we hate this. If you look on social media, it seems like the majority of the coaches, and maybe I'm wrong, don't like it. And so there was like that disconnect between passing so easily and maybe what coaches think. So I think every school's different, but what was it like on your end? And Nick, I'll start with you. I'm assuming you're having open conversations with the people that are making that decision. They're making sure they get your thought process correct. Even a bad athletic director like Scott Harding is going to do that, correct?
I mean, he literally sent all the proposals for the town hall, and he sent it to all the head coaches and said, I want your direct feedback on the ones that impact your sport. So we had multiple conversations. And then when we talked with Mr. Wright and Dr. Morrow, we were all on the same page. District football is a scary deal for us, and not scary. Like the three proposals for us was St. Louis and Rockford. Well, I mean, the one-time drive every other year to go to Quincy is, it's not ideal, but we don't there's not an overwhelming, we don't have the crowd we have when we play local schools, right? So now imagine every team in our district except for Moline and maybe Rock Island. Some of the proposals didn't even have all three of us in the same district, which makes no sense. What's that look like? And I think part of the experience of playing high school football, yes, you want kids to make the playoffs. No, you don't want it to be a handout, but playing in front of packed crowds that you get in the Western Big Six is top tier. And honestly, here's how I feel. I think in anything in life, the people that are most upset are usually the loudest. And I think there's a lot of coaches that are like, it is what it is. In my opinion, it passed. And now it's just time to adapt. Quit whining. Hey, college football playoff 10 years ago, 2 teams determined by a computer. Yeah. That wasn't good enough. People complained. Then they went to 4 teams by a committee, and it wasn't enough. It wasn't good enough. People complained. Then it went to 12. And I'm a Notre Dame fan, and I'm not going to get into that. And now that ain't good enough, right? Yeah. So guess what? What's probably going to happen next year? 16. It's going to go to 16. Yeah. And if you look at 16 teams out of FBS football, that's probably and really you just focus on Power 4 because the Group 5 thing might go out the window, to be honest with you, right? Like you take the group and really group of 6 teams now. I mean, I'd say 16 out of 68 teams is a greater percentage than 384 out of IHSA members. So is college football playoff a handout now? I don't know. So that's how we look at it. And honestly, our goals don't change. Now our goals just adjust we're not just trying to get in. We want a home playoff game. We want to buy. That's what we're going to work for. And I think that's like we've kind of talked about as coaches is like it's a winner's mindset. Like we're not going to settle for 3. We want an opportunity for a home playoff game. We want an opportunity for a bye. Home playoff game before 7 wins wasn't a guarantee, but that's always the goal, right? You want a home playoff game, and now 7 or 8 wins is what's going to, probably 8 wins in 7A or 6A is going to be what gets you a bye, and that's the goal for us.
Yeah. Coach Morrissey, what was the conversation like? Did you have to wake Todd Thompson up and say, hey, we got an email, let's look at it? Or how'd it go over at Moline?
No, he's a pretty good communicator. I'm going to give him a lot of credit for that. But I think kind of resorting back to what Nick had said, it was just a lack of transparency, with what it would really look like with some of this stuff. The lower level games, how that would kind of unfold, like that stuff. Like there always seems to be a lack of transparency, whether it was district football stuff or this proposal. You never really get the clear picture. You never really know exactly what you're getting yourself into. So I don't want to say you vote blindly, but you definitely vote with kind of a reservation along the lines of like, hey, what is going to be in our best interest going forward? And obviously we don't have, he put it really well. Like we don't have the issue with conference jumping as much and those types of things. We're pretty well settled in. But like the travel down to, down south it'd just be horrible. Like it'd kill our budget. It'd kill all that stuff. And I was in Champaign last weekend for the Shrine Game Selection Committee and then the Illinois High School Football Coach Association executive meeting. And we walked, the whole weekend, everybody I talked to was like, I don't think it's going to pass. I don't think it's going to pass. Like, no way it passes. And then halfway through our meeting on Sunday, they're like, yeah, it's going to go. Like, wow. It's 100% going to go. And so we kind of had a heads up, and I got a hold of Coach Thompson. I was like, look, man, this is going to happen. So we're going to have to adjust this stuff. We're going to have to figure out a week one. Everything's going to be kind of bumped. Our Sycamore game was still fine because we'll just bump everything just like they do. So there's not an issue. But the coaches that we heard from the most were the coaches that had out-of-state games. They had those games scheduled, and now those games are completely gone because of the realignment of the weeks. And so now they've lost that stuff. And that's kind of how we ended up with our week one opponent, was the same way. So they had an out-of-state game. We're going to have a 1-year contract, and then that's how we're going to do it. But it was kind of honestly, I didn't think it was going to go. I really didn't. I think everybody that I talked to was like, no, it's not going to go. It's not going to go. It's not going to go. And then when you realize, like, yeah, it's definitely going to, but it's what it is. Coach Welch said it perfectly. Like, you adapt just like everybody else. That's just how it goes. Like, you adapt your summer, you adjust to things. Like, the kids get used to it. They're pretty resilient and kind of roll with the punches anyway. And then, yeah, it does kind of realign your goals as far as wanting to host a home playoff game, wanting to get that bye so the next round comes to you. And then, we talked about this yesterday as well. I think it does, in a small way, maybe benefit some of those fringe, like Chicago Catholic League schools. So, those schools that finish 3-6 or finish 4-5, like all of a sudden, do you want to play a 3-6 Marist team in the playoffs? Like, no, man, you don't. Like, you don't want to play them. But now they're in. You know what I mean? Like, they're in. They're a part of things. Or if you play like a Wheaton North out of that conference with Batavia and Glenbard North and Wheaton North and Wheaton Warrenville South, like, Wheaton North would have got in this year at 4-5. Like, do you want to see a battle-tested Wheaton North 4-5 team where their 5 losses were all to playoff teams and legit? Yeah. Like, people are going to look at it and say, like, oh, well, it's kind of watered down. Like, and there may be some of it that is. There may be some games that probably, just like any year that you'd see previously, though, too, they're like, oh, okay, well, those are kind of mismatches. Some of these teams that get in with 3-6 and 4-5 are going to be battle-tested teams. They're going to be teams that went through a gauntlet of a conference schedule, but they're still good enough to make this thing and to be able to make a run. I mean, I think that's what's scary. You saw Naz Academy went 4-5 one year and ran through and won a state title. So it's like, it's gonna kind of create some matchups with the Chicago Catholic League schools that are gonna, be a little bit nerve-wracking for a lot of other places, and I'm sure like us for sure as well. And that's just kind of the way it goes.
Moline's Mike Morrissey and UT's Nick Welch joining us right now and off the air with Matt Randazzo. I will mention that I really enjoyed Geneseo Assumption last year, and that's now gone.
Yeah.
Coach Gilly was on social media looking for an opponent. That's kind of a scramble. I know you guys move things up. You're looking for a week one. And a little breaking news, you guys have filled week one, right, Mike, when it comes to...
We did. So, I mean, we're going to finalize the contract, I'm assuming this morning at some point with Rochester. So we'll have Rochester at home. Coach Leonard and I were talking prior to the meeting last week, and I know they had an out-of-state game, and so that was kind of the situation they were stuck in, and they were excited about. And then obviously when that gets canceled, you start reaching out, and when you think it's on the fringe of being canceled, you start reaching out and kind of figuring out what it's gonna look like. And for us, that's gonna be a major challenge, obviously, because they have a great program. He does a phenomenal job. So, but it's cool to play. Teams that your friends, the coach, that's a neat situation. So as long as he doesn't come down here and just pummel us, I think it'll end up okay.
And
I hope it's a competitive game. That's obviously
before the Grinch thing, Alleman fans would probably be rooting for you guys. And now you probably threw that out the window because they don't like the Grinch and they don't like Rochester. So, Coach Welch,
we got enough fans.
That's probably true. Coach Welch, how have you guys filled it up? And then for both of you guys too, and Mike, you're over on that side of the river, and I think you started your coaching career over in Iowa as a student teacher, or student coach. I remember the days at WQAD where I was trying to polish a 1-8 Davenport North versus Bettendorf in the first round, and like, how do you hype it up? And I know that's my job, and that's not the role of, there's probably bad games in the first round regardless, but I do cringe when I hear like 2-7 teams getting in, because it goes back to the Iowa days of like, everybody kind of gets in. Your thoughts on that? And then also, Coach Welch, update us on your schedule before you get rolling too. Are you guys still looking for a week one game?
Yeah, so LP informed us during the season they were going to drop us. They didn't want to play us anymore for their own reasons. And we just signed a contract with Wheaton Academy, a 4A private school who's had some success in the past. They were 4-5 last year. But I think it'll be it was one of the best options for us, and we were able to sign a 2-year deal, which was really important to us. Coach knows, because he's kind of had this with, week 2 last year and scrambling after Davenport. One of the Davenport schools couldn't play them.
Yeah.
And, signing a 1-year deal now, like 2-year deal, it's not like it's the end all be all, but just being ahead of it makes it a little bit easier. So Wheaton Academy will come out to us week 1 and 26, and then we'll go out there in 27 and we'll reevaluate.
Love it. The thought process of these, I mean, when somebody says and pushes back, we're opening it up to teams that don't deserve to make the playoffs. And honestly, UT hadn't made the playoffs for a while, and you did it this year. And I think it meant more that you did it the way you did it, instead of, having the finish line brought back closer, if that makes any sense. Your thoughts on complaints of 2 and 7 teams. I think Mitch said, I don't know if Mitch is right, that of the 42 teams that went 2 and 7 last year in the state, 32 of them would made the playoffs last year. Your thoughts on that complaint when it comes to what's going on with the playoff expansion?
Well, first of all, I'm really excited that we got in the OG way, so no one can put an asterisk next to our qualification. Under this, we would have been in the playoffs the last couple of years, honestly. And, Coach brought up like battle tested. I think about our 24 team. We finished 4-5, 1 game out, and 4 of our 5 losses were playoff teams that won a playoff game. So, you start thinking about things like that, and I'm not saying we were Catholically battle tested, but I think we had the 3rd most playoff points in 6A in 2024.
But
the Regis
you were
team.
4-5. You weren't 2 and 7.
Yeah, we didn't make it.
But 2 and 7 is different than 4 and 5.
But my big thing is 2 and 7 is not going to play 9-0, and with the buys, I think that's good. I mean, honestly, a big thing I want to see, and I've talked about this. I don't know if I talked about it with Coach Morrissey, but I think class 1 through 8 needs to go 1 through 32. I mean, you look at, classes 1A and 2A, it's been pretty dominant. The North has been, I know, Coach Dixon down at Camp Point, they've had a lot of success, but, a lot of times the 1A team state championship games in the quarterfinals or the semifinals. So, and someone said, well, a 2 and 7 team doesn't want to travel, across. I don't agree with that.
No,
I think it's such a great experience for our kids. Like Coach Morrissey taking his team down to Rockwood Summit last year, was it a lot? Yeah, but they got to stay in a hotel. Like, that's big time, man. Like, kids are so excited for things like that. And you're going to play a school that you don't know. And how often do we see teams in the 1 through 6 playing an opponent that they've already played? The playoffs are different. I wish you could see the looks on our kids' faces. We pulled up to St. Charles North this fall. The houses around St. Charles North were quite the culture shock. Obviously I grew up in the burbs, so it wasn't a big shock to me, but those kids were like, Coach, that house is like as big as 3 of the houses on my block. I'm like, yeah, their bank accounts look a little different. But it's just like the experience for the kids. And I think that's what it's all about. I don't look at this as a participation trophy. I'm trying to find how many schools in the IHSA play football. I know there's like 700 member schools, but I know there's a number that don't play football. But I think it's like 60%. So to me, you still got to do something. And there's a lot of, you look at the last couple of years, there's been 4 and 5s that made the playoffs. Yeah. Well, before it used to be 5, you had to get 5 and 5 wasn't a guarantee. 6 was your guarantee. Well, now we've seen anywhere from 4 to 10 teams that are 4 and 5 making the playoffs. And, was it like 2000? We went from 6 classes to 8 classes. Was everyone screaming like, oh, they're just handing out participation trophies. We're just letting more schools in. Like, what's changed? Like, I'm sure people complained then, and now they like it. And now people want more multipliers and more success factors put in place because the same teams are winning. Like, we just trying to give out participation trophies because they win too much? Like, I think at some point you just got to focus on this is what it is and this is how it's going to be. But again, that's just my opinion. Yeah. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but I think that's the beauty of our country.
Absolutely. I forgot that, Mike, you went down to Missouri and stayed overnight. So you got a new field turf. Then you got the Morrissey Mansion over there. You guys are going overnight on hotels. You're going to Arizona. Man, life is good for Mike Morrissey. Anyway, your thought on 2 and 7. Your thought on? I don't want to pin it on like 2 and 7, but I mean, you remember the Iowa?
No, I
the
hear you
days.
saying.
I mean, there were a lot of. I mean, and I know we mentioned the drive for 5. It is fun, and View from the West sits there like a couple weeks before the end of the season. They're like, how does this team get to 5? How does that team get to 5?
Yeah,
I think that was a fun part. Is it the end all be all? No, it's not the end all be all of high school athletics. But your thoughts on lowering the bar to get into the postseason?
Yeah, I mean, again, it just goes back to adapting, and this is what it's going to be. You know what I mean? Like it might be something where people are chaotic about it now and are disagreeing about it now. And, obviously that was our main reason for voting no. Like, we liked the structure of what it was, and we liked how it looked. And we liked the fact that, yes, there was a standard and expectation that everybody had to get to. That didn't mean that teams weren't, figuring out their schedule to make sure they could get those 5 wins. So I don't think I see the flip side of that part, where now on the front end of scheduling, you have a little more flexibility if you're not afraid to challenge your team early. Like, there is that piece. And I think that's going to create some really fun games early on in the season. I do think that's a major positive from this whole entire thing, is that you're going to see some teams that, okay, like, would we normally play a St. Rita? Like, no, probably not. Like, we're, not that I don't think, we'd see St. Rita at some point in the 7A playoffs. Hopefully that's always the goal. But like, are we just going to take those phone calls from the Loyolas and Mount Carmels and St. Ritas and Naz, which Coach Welch was, I'm sure, alluding to with the list that reached out to him within the first hour?
There was half of it.
Yeah, that's it. And that's how it's gone. And we've gotten those same calls, because we end up with the scheduling issue of calling places and being like, hey, we think we're pretty comparable. Do you guys want to play? And they're just being like, no, we're not going to play you guys, whether it's travel or whether it's like they think, because of our record that we are what we are. But like, we've run into some scheduling issues. We have. I don't think we're going to have those issues going forward, only because we will be a little bit more willing to also, branch out and expand a little bit. And I think it's beneficial for us. I'll be real honest. Like, there's some games in our conference that weren't super competitive. And I think that hurts us over the longevity of the season. So we've always tried to kind of load up a little bit on the front end with some competitive teams. But now it's like, okay, we're definitely going to load up on the front end, because we might not get a game, from this team that's super competitive every single year, or this team that's super competitive later on in the season. And we need that as bad as everybody else needs it, because they do. Like, and we may even need it a little bit more, because yes, that 3 and 6 is probably going to get you in. So if you've done everything you can to prepare your kids to be successful when it matters in the postseason, then you're going to challenge them a little bit, and you're going to expose them to what they don't know. I mean, we made the playoffs my first year here, and we pulled Mount Carmel, who was they're 5-4, they're 6-3, whatever it was. I know they made it to the semifinals, and they probably should have made the state championship game that year. But like, our kids were so delusional about who Mount Carmel was. I mean, they were just like, who's Mount Carmel? I'm like, buddy, you're going to find out on Saturday at 1:00.
Yeah.
Like, trust me.
Didn't you guys lead? Didn't you lead 7-0 in that game or something like that?
First play of the game.
Yes.
We had like a 70-yard touchdown.
Yes.
And our kids are going like bonkers. And my dad, who's a Southside, obviously played in the Catholic League, is like, calm down. Yeah. Everybody needs to calm down now.
We won't talk about the rest of the game. We won't talk about the rest of the game.
Was, I think it was like a 53-0 run after that by Mount Carmel. And
it reminds me of when Iowa was in the Rose Bowl one year, Orange Bowl one year.
Yes.
They returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown. Here we go.
USC.
Yep. And then Carson Palmer decided to kill them after that. Before I let you go, I know Nick claims to have work to do.
Hey,
so
I just want to remind you guys, Mount Carmel and us, we all have the same problems. So just be better.
It makes sense. The voice of reason coming through. We know what
That's right.
I think the good thing is the district.
Same problem, Coach. We got the same problem. How do we handle these ESPN 300 guys? I got to figure that out.
Apparently. Too many D1 guys is an issue, I guess. I don't know.
Nobody's happy because they're not getting the ball enough.
It could be a problem. I don't know. I'd love to have those problems. I'll be real honest.
I love it. Hey, a couple more before I let you go. And Nick claims to have work to do. I don't buy it, but we know what you guys like the most about it. I think both of you guys would agree, pushing districts away and getting away from that. And I hate to end negative, but I mean, and Nick, you voted yes for it. Is there an aspect of it that you would even say, like, I don't love this as we move forward?
I how I grew up, going to Oswego High School, like, playoffs were a norm, and it meant a lot. being there, and obviously expectations weren't just, sorry about that,
No, you're good.
to get there, but to win when you got there, So I love how different football is from every other sport. I really do.
We've heard a lot of that. Not to jump in, we've heard a lot of that of like, why doesn't everybody get into the postseason? And all the other sports, everybody gets in. But I don't think people realize football's different. You can't play 3 games in a week. You can't play like every game is like it's more taxing on your body. But that's one of them that I don't get. Dan Tomlin, who's probably listening to this, not every team football wise deserves to make the postseason. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I had to go my little rant.
And like I just think that it was like, I can just speak like this year making the playoffs for the first time in 24 years, like it meant a lot to our community. It really did. And I think in the moment you don't realize it because you're just like grinding away, and we lost our quarterback against coach, and we were just focused on like, okay, where do we go from here? What do we do? How do we modify? How do we adapt? Like stepping back from the fact, like we start talking to people. Like we had a 1983 grad drive to St. Charles to watch the game because it just meant so much to him, and wanted to talk after the game. Obviously didn't really get a chance to talk to him, had a lot going on, but it's just, it means a lot. And obviously I don't want to, take away the value of it, but I think it does water it down in a sense. I don't disagree with that, but like I said, district football is not good for United Township. So that drove our belief.
All right, boys, let's quickly do this. Thumbs up, thumbs down questions. Just goofy ones. I've been doing it with everybody. Not that you guys don't watch the show religiously every day, but Christmas music, thumbs up, thumbs down.
After Thanksgiving. After Thanksgiving.
All right.
Agreed.
Thumbs up.
What's your favorite Christmas song? Nick.
All I Want for Christmas, Mariah Carey.
For reasons we know. Mike.
That is probably the most played one in my house.
I like it.
I got 2 daughters though, man. So it's inevitable. It's going to happen.
What about eggnog? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay, I agree with that. Even if we spike it?
I know, man.
Yeah, I just check it.
I could be convinced.
Christmas movies. This isn't a thumbs up, thumbs down. Just I think they're all like your favorite Christmas movie. We'll go. Mike
Coach,
first.
you gotta go first.
Oh, geez. I mean, Elf is played all the time. Again, in our house, Elf is a big one.
Yeah.
We have a variety that are played. Like my kids go through the whole gambit of the Christmas movies, but I'd say Elf is a staple for sure.
Yeah, we just watched it last night, Nick.
Yeah.
I love A Christmas Story. I think that movie's hilarious.
Right.
Fantastic.
My wife loves The Grinch, so we've got The Grinch in the background. So we'll give 2.
Favorite Christmas cookie or treat, whether it's like the peanut butter blossoms or the Oreo balls or the gingerbread cookies or I'm fat. Go ahead, Nick. We'll go with you first.
My wife makes Oreo balls, and those things are straight diabetes, but my mom's snickerdoodles, those are outstanding.
Look at him making sure he gives a shout out to both of the women in his life.
That was so well played.
Neither one of them
So
will
well
watch
played.
this. Neither one will watch this awful show.
Nope.
But just making
But
sure.
just in case.
Yes, just in case.
You clip that? My mom's happy and my wife's happy.
I might put that on social media just to give you a better Christmas. Coach Morrissey.
I gotta be honest, man, and this don't make fun of me for this. I really don't eat sweets a lot. I just don't have it. It's not in me. I don't crave that stuff.
So
I really don't.
It makes shaving your legs harder
sugar.
if you eat all that sugar.
I mean, you just don't know it. I'm not willing to risk it. So I stay away from it, and I kind of stay with the routine. I really don't eat a lot of sweets. I'll be honest.
All right, promise. Last one. Best Christmas gift you've ever given. We'll go Nick first. Given.
Oh boy.
Is it easier to do gotten? Receive?
I don't know. Oh boy.
Then you make someone else mad.
Yeah. This one's.
It could be when you're little. Like when you were little, did you get a bike? Did you get a? It's not like I don't want to get you in trouble now, but did you get a? Football?
Tickets to Notre Dame games, tickets to things like that. Those are always big. And obviously, if we're going to travel and go somewhere right now, I would say the biggest gift that I give is paying for travel sports to my children, whether they view it as a gift or not. I'm going to go ahead and put it on the list.
Yeah.
whether it's softball or volleyball,
Yeah.
it's a pretty significant gift that
Yeah, it
they
is.
don't acknowledge. But I'm going to acknowledge it here right now while we can.
I think Nick's supposed to be in class, but what do you got?
That's fine. I would say best gift I've received. My mom made a scrapbook after my last year at Augie. That was really
That's
really
good.
cool.
Did you play
Best
football
gift
at Augie?
I've given
I didn't know that.
at one
neat.
point. It's
Okay.
little blop in the history of not extensive. Just 1 year. And then I was on the team, but I only played for 1 year.
That's okay.
I can't think of, honestly, I just give such great gifts. My presence probably is the best gift I can give.
Your
My time.
I'm not going to clip that one and show that to your mom or your wife either. I'll leave that one on the other one I got you for. Hey, boys, Merry Christmas. I mean it. I appreciate you both. Thank you for taking the time to do my goofy little show, and we'll catch up with you again soon. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, man. Merry Christmas
All right,
to you guys. Both of you guys.
Two of the best, Mike Morrissey and Nick Welch, joining us, talking about what's been a crazy week of high school football. And who would have expected that in December? But it's always good to talk about that, and good show filler as well. So we got more to get to. After the break, we'll go from high school football back to high school basketball. The shootout is this weekend. Pete Ivanic will join us to talk all about it right after this. You're watching OTA.
Give me the keys. Learning to drive can be stressful for both the student and, yes, the parent as well. Relax. There's an easy way to avoid the stress. Skiles Driving School in East Moline has been helping new drivers hit the road with confidence for over 20 years. Whether you're a teen earning your first license or an adult looking for behind-the-wheel training, we've got you covered. Their certified instructors are patient, experienced, and use modern vehicles equipped for safety and comfort. From classroom instruction to real-world driving, we make learning safe, affordable, and even fun. Call 309-278-0098 or visit skylesdriving.com. Skiles Driving School. Get in, buckle up, drive your future forward.
Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Thursday in the Quad Cities. The month of December is full of great traditions. Obviously, the holidays, Christmas coming up, all those kind of things. But when it comes to the world of sports, especially here in the Quad Cities, there's a December tradition that's become one of my favorite, and it's been that way for over 3 decades. The MercyOne Geneseis Shootout is coming up this weekend down in Augustana. 7 fantastic basketball games pitting teams from Iowa and Illinois. The nightcap is a really good one. It's going to feature Rock Island and North Scott, but that's just the start of a great day of basketball. And the guy the maestro, if you will, that puts all this stuff together is Pete Ivanic. And Pete joins me right now on